Hello friends, welcome back. This is Adrika Valare from Extra Coding YouTube channel. So friends, in today's video we're gonna learn tuples. So guys, tuples are like lists only. They can store any data type in them. So first of all, you can see the structure of a tuple. Like in list, we used to declare list using square brackets. But in tuples, we declare tuples with the help of round brackets, or you can say parentheses. So here I have a tuple named days and we have days in them. Okay. Now you might be thinking that if tuples and lists are same type of data types and they can store any data type in them like strings, integers, boolean values, floats and whatever we want. So what's the difference between tuples and lists? The difference is that tuples are immutable whereas lists are mutable. If you remember that I have already told you what are immutable and mutable data types, but if you don't remember, let me tell you that immutable are the ones which cannot be updated. So tuples are immutable. That means once a tuple is declared, we cannot update a tuple. If you remember, we used these methods: append, pop, insert, del, remove. These methods on lists. So what does these methods do? Append and insert were the methods used to add any data to the list, right? And pop, del and remove were the methods which were used to delete any data from list, right? But these methods can't be used on lists, on tuples. Okay, so these methods can't be used on tuples. Why? Because as I told you, tuples are immutable. Tuples are immutable, right? That means that once a tuple is declared, we cannot add any data type. We cannot add or delete any data from tuples. I hope it's clear. Now you may be thinking that if tuples and lists are somewhat equal, so why don't we use list? Because in that case, if we use list, we can delete or add any data type whenever we want. It's in our hands. So why do we use tuples in place of lists? So the reason is that tuples are faster than lists. Than lists, right? Tuples are faster than lists. That's why we use tuple in place of lists. So where do we use tuples? As we know that tuples are immutable, so we cannot delete or add any data afterwards. So where do we use tuples? Tuples are used where we know that we do not have to add or remove any data. Suppose if we have a tuple of days, so we know that we have 7 days and there will be 7 only. We do not need to remove any day or to add any day to it, right? This is one condition where we use tuples. We can use them on months also, and there are many examples where you can use tuples. Okay, so hope I made myself clear. Now as I told you that tuples can store any data type just like lists. So here if I make a mixed tuple, right, and here let's put parentheses here and let's write strings, string 1, and then we will write some numbers 23, and here let's write true, which is a boolean value, and we can write 3.4. And let me tell you that we can also store a list here. Suppose I made a list inside a tuple, and now I can add the values to our list also. So here let's say 12, and here as my str2, and here's my another value false, and I can store another tuple inside my tuple. So here let's write str3, and here let's write any 64. Okay, so here's my tuple. As you can see, there are many different types of data types that we have stored. Okay, so this concludes that we can store any data type in our tuples just like lists. Now let's take a look at some methods that we can use on tuples. So here let's write methods. Okay, so the first method is count method, which can count how many times a data has occurred in my tuple. Okay, then we have length, which can tell how many values we have in our tuple. Then we can do slicing also, and indexing also. Indexing, right? Hope you remember what is slicing and indexing. We did that in strings and on lists also. So let's do it on tuples now. So if I write here print mixed tuple, and here if I write let's say 3, okay, and if I run it, you will get 3.4. Wait a second, yeah, here it is 3.4, right? Why? Because this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. So on the third position there is 3.4. Okay, so now if I want to print this list, we can just change it to 3 to 4. Okay, and we will get a whole list, because on the fourth position there is whole list. It won't take the values of it individually, it will take the whole list as one value, one position. Okay, okay, so now if you want to get this data, so what can you do? Just simply write print, and here like write mixed tuple, and here write 4, because our list is on fourth position, right? And after that put another square brackets, and then as you can see here in the list, you can see the str2, this data is on first position. See 0, 1. So here we will write 1, right? So if I run it, see str2, we have get the data, right? So this is how we do indexing. Okay, let's just remove it and write here slicing. Okay, now let's check how can we do slicing here. Okay, so here just like we did on strings and list, you have to print, and here we will write mixed tuple, and here pass the first position. So let's say 1, and we want it till let's say 5. Okay, so what will be the answer? the straight ones. Okay, so I hope that you got the answer. The answer will be from 23, true 3.4, and this list. This tuple won't be included. Okay, so let's see the answer. See, from 23 it's still list. Okay, so this is how you slice on tuples. Okay, hope I made myself clear. Now one more thing, if you remember, we did something like this. Let's say mixed tuple, and here suppose if I pass one position, let's say 2. Okay, and here we will assign the value to be hello. So do you think it will work? Just pause the video and think for a second and then answer. Okay, so hope you got the answer. So it won't work. It will throw an error. See, tuple object does not support item assignment. If you remember that I told you tuples are immutable, that means once a tuple is created, it cannot be updated. So here basically we are trying to change the value from true to hello, right? That's why it is throwing an error. So hope it's clear. So let me write here. It will throw an error, right? And let's comment this out so it won't cause any problem in our code. But one more thing, like if you write something like this, let's copy this and paste it here. Okay, and here let's remove this. Okay, so here as you can see my list is on 4th position, so let me pass 4th here now. And as you can see my, let's access this data. Okay, so it is on 1st position, so here let's pass 1st. So now what do you think, will it work or will it not work? Answer it honestly. So I hope you got the answer. It will work. Let's check. See, just wait a second. Yes, this one. Let's comment this out for some time. Okay, now as you can see here in my list, the 1st position has been changed to hello, but as you can see in my initial list, initial tuple, here in this list my value was str2. So how did this happen? I told you that tuples are immutable, so how did the value changed? If you'll see, data which we have changed is from list. As you can see, this is a list, but if you will do like this, let's remove this, it will throw an error. But it is a list, so why didn't it change? Because the list is from tuple, that's why it will throw an error. But the data, this data is from a list, that's why it won't throw an error and it can get changed, right? So hope I made myself clear. If a data is inside a list, then it can get changed, but the data inside a tuple cannot get changed. Okay, so whether the list is in the tuple or it is outside a tuple, we can change the data of the list. Okay, Okay, so now here let's give the heading tuple with one element. Right? So if I make a tuple here, suppose let's say x equals to, and here let's put parenthesis and write 23. So do you think it is a tuple? If not, then which data type is it? Here if I print the type of x, so what do you think it will print? Let me show it to you. It will print integer. See, class int. So here, as you can see, we have put parenthesis. So it should be a tuple. Why is it showing class int? Because to make a tuple with one element, we have to put a comma after the data. Okay. So now, if we will check the type of x, we will get class tuple. Okay. So hope it is clear to you that if you are making a tuple with one element, you have to put a comma. Then only the Python will consider it as a tuple, or else it will consider it as the data type which you have passed. Suppose if I remove it, it will be an integer. If you pass a string here, string string here, so if you will check the data type, it will be class str. See, class string. So to make tuple with one element, you have to put a comma. Right? See, class tuple. Now if I make a variable here, suppose let's say months, okay, and here let's write Jan, Feb, March, okay, so I write all the names here. So now what do you think, which data type it is? If I print the type of months, what do you think we will get? We will get a tuple. See, class tuple. So with this we conclude that without parenthesis, by default our data will be in the form of tuple. Now if you write it like this, it will return the type string only. Let me show it to you. It will return the type string only, but if you put a comma here without parenthesis, you can see it is returning class tuple. Right? So here let's write tuple without parenthesis. Right? So now let's move to tuple unpacking. Right? So now let's make a tuple here named song. Okay, and here let's make a tuple, and here let's write and on, and here let's write Oh god. Okay, so here are some songs. So now let's make some variables here. So here one, song 2 and 3. Okay, and if I write here songs, so now I can print them individually now. Print and let's copy this one only, paste, and here let's write 2 and 3. So if I run it, see, dynamite on and mic drop. So here, okay, so here if I remove this song 3, so, and just remove this, okay, now you can see an error, too many values to unpack, expected 2. So here as you can see we have 3 songs, dynamite, on and mic drop, but we have only 2 variables to unpack them, right? So that's why it is throwing an error, because we do not have any variable to store mic drop, right? That's why it is throwing an error. Just like this, if I remove this one and here I will get error again, not enough values to unpack, expected 3, got 2. So here in song 1 there's dynamite, in song 2 there's on, but in song 3 there isn't any value to store, right? So that's the reason we are getting an error. Hope I made myself clear. Now let's move to looping on tuples. Okay, so here let's write looping on tuples. Oh, okay, here. So now let's take this tuple only, days, right? So here, just like we used to do, we will write for I in days, and here days, and here we will print I, and done. See, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday, right? So we have used loop before also, so hope it's clear to you. So when the loop will work, it will first get the value Monday and it will print it, and then it will get the value Tuesday, and then it will again print it, and so on. So hope it's clear to you. Now this was for loop. For loop, right? Now let's see while loop. Okay, so here let's make a variable x which is equals to 1. Okay, now here we will write while x is less than equal to length of our tuple. Oh, so here it is days, right? And now it will print x. Okay, let's comment this out. Okay, now, okay, so here we have to write days, and here we have to pass x like this. So x will be our position, right? And here we will write x plus equal to 1, right? Now let's run our program. Oh, okay, So basically it is saying tuple index out of range. So here we have to give it 0, okay, because indexing starts from 0, and here we will write less than, okay, less than only, because as I told you that when we use the function length, it will give us the value of number of items that we have in our list or tuple or our any data type, okay. So here suppose we have 7 of them, okay. So here the indexing will be till length minus 1, so it will be while x is less than length of days. Now see, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Now let's take a look on some functions that we can use on tuples, okay. So here are some functions, okay. So the functions are min, max and sum, okay. Now if I have a tuple num, and here let it be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, okay. Or let's make it jumbled, okay. So let's say 3, 2, 1, 5 and 4, okay. Right. Now here if I print min of num, so it will give the answer as 1 because it is the minimum value in our tuple. So here let's make it a tuple. By mistake I have made it a list, okay. So it will return the minimum value of our tuple. Let's just copy it and paste it here. Here let's write max, and here let's write sum. Right. Now let's run. See, minimum is 1, maximum is 5 and the total is 15, okay. Now pay attention here, this one is really important. Here if I define a function here, define calc, okay, and here let's write a and b. So and b are two parameters. So now here write x equals to a plus b, then let's write y equals to a minus b, okay. And let's make another value as z equals to a multiply b, okay. And let's return a comma b comma c. Oh, let's write x y z, right. Now if I print calc, and here let's write 5 comma 2, okay. So now if I will run it, you'll get the value 7, 3 and 10. So 5 plus 2 is 7, 5 minus 2 is 3 and 5 into 2 is 10. So now if you can see here, the values are inside parentheses, round brackets, right. So that means if I return more than one value at the same time, the values will be in the form of a tuple, Okay, you need to keep that in mind, right? So here, let me write a comment here. We return more than one value, we get them in the form of tuple. Value, we get them in the form of tuple. Okay, so hope it is clear to you. Now let's see. So now let's see how can we change the data types. So here, suppose I have a list here, and here let's write str1, and here let's write, okay, now let's write 34, and here let's write true. So here's our list, and if we want to change it to tuple, what can we do? Here we can simply write tuple and put parenthesis here. Okay, so now it is a tuple. If I print the type of L, you can see that it is a tuple, right? Now let's remove tuple from here. Okay, and here let's make a variable z is equal to tuple of L. Okay, now if I print the type of z, we will get tuple only, because now Python will treat it as a tuple. Okay, so hope it is clear. Now suppose let's take this only, copy and paste it. Let's write t here and put parenthesis here. Okay, so it is a tuple obviously. Now if I print the type of list of L T, okay, so it will give list, see list, because here I have changed T to list, that's why it is giving type as class list. Now here if I print list of, let's say, a string, string string, so you can see it is strings strings. See, Python has converted a string into a list, that's why it is returning it like this. Now just like this you can convert a string into tuple using tuple function, and you can change any data type to list using list function. You can change any data type to string also. Suppose if I have this L only, and if I print the type of, or let's just print str list, here it is L. Okay, so here you can see it is giving str1 3 4 true. Now you might be thinking that it is a list only, right? But it is now a string. It is looking like a list, but it is a string. So hope you got it. And let me show it to you also. If I print the type here let's write type. Okay, so I will get the type as here class str. Okay, so right, that's it for today's video. See you soon in my next video, guys. Thank you for being with me till the end of the session.